Good morning. I'm sorry if I look a little bit tired. I just got up, but my dad wanted me to make a video today actually, which sounds a little bit strange, but I'll get to that in a moment. So as you know, I've been doing my 30 book 12-month challenge and I never really seem to shut up about it. And I wasn't planning on making a video about the books I'm reading until the end of the month, but my dad is a school teacher and the librarian at his school wanted to see a video with me doing book reviews about the books I'm reading for this, so I thought I would make my video this morning. I will start by saying a few things about the two books I've already read. I started with this book. It's called I Am New Jude, age 10 and divorced. It is a true story. It's a memoir written by this little 10-year-old girl. Basically what happens is she lives in Yemen, and at 8 years old in this little small village of hers that she lives in, they get kicked out. It's hard to explain, I don't want to give anything away, and so they go live in a big city, and she lives in a big family and they're having trouble getting by, and so her dad gets a dowry ready for her and she gets married to this man in his 30s and she's like 8, and no woman had ever gotten divorced in Yemen before, and she was the first one too, because this 30-year-old man was sexually abusing her and physically beating her, and his family members were verbally abusing her, and so this is her story about how she got out of that situation, and it is a really fascinating book. I couldn't put it down. I would highly recommend it. The second book I read was another memoir. I love reading memoirs, I don't know why. This one was called Unorthodox and the Scandalous Rejection of My Hasidic Roots. This book is longer than the first one. It is written by a woman who is now in her 20s. She was born into a community of Hasidic Jews, which is a very orthodox sect of that religion, and she never felt like she fit in with their society, and she always knew something was off about her, and she wanted something more with her life because she wasn't satisfied with the education she was getting or what opportunities she had. And so she got married when she was 19. She was put into an arranged marriage similar to the one in this book, except for she and her husband were the same age, but they had only talked like 3 times before they actually got married, and so they had a very dysfunctional relationship. And she goes into much more detail about some of the things that happen within her marriage, unlike the 10-year-old, and I think that is just representative of their ages and at what point they are in their lives. I mean, obviously this book is going to be a little bit more in depth because it was written by a 20-year-old and not a 10-year-old. This book was just about as equally amazing as this book. I would highly recommend both of them. The author of this one is Deborah Feldman. She's an amazing lady. I really enjoyed this book. Right now, I'm on my 3rd book of the year, and I'm reading The Diary of Anne Frank, because believe it or not, I have never read this book, which seems strange because it seems like everybody has read, you know, her diary at some point in their schooling. It's a required reading, but for some reason I don't want to say I beat the system, because it's not that I didn't want to read the book, I just never was presented with the opportunity to, so now I'm reading it, and I'm about this far through. This is the definitive edition, so I guess that means there's extra diary entries in here that had been omitted from the original publication, and I really am enjoying it. I've gotten upset at some parts already, just because of the realization hits me at some point that this actually happened, and that this is something that a girl who was basically my age actually had to go through. And when I put myself in her shoes and when I read her diary, it is crazy to think that people actually did this. Just remembered another book I'm reading. This one I actually am reading because of school. It's called The Kite Runner, And funnily enough, this book was on the list of the top 100 banned and challenged books that I made a video about previously. I'll link to that in the description. And I am not too far into this book. They pace the reading so like the teachers do, so I can't really read it at my own, pace. If I could, then I would be much further. I'm actually considering reading ahead because I really like it. It's about two young boys in Afghanistan, and I'm not going to give away what happens because it will totally ruin the book for you if you do decide to read the Kite Runner. But there are many ethnic groups in Afghanistan, but in this book specifically, they focus on the Pashtuns and the Hazaras. The Pashtuns are the more upper class, the richer people, and this book takes place in like the 70s. And basically, there is a young Pashtun boy named Amir, and he lives with his father, Baba, and they have a terrible relationship. It is very dysfunctional, and it just makes me sad to read about it. But they are very rich, and they have servants living with them. And they are Hazaras, the lower class, not as well-respected citizens. They're a minority group. And Amir, the Pashtun, his servant, who is basically his age, is named Hassan. And they have a very interesting friendship. I honestly can't say much more about the book because I don't want to ruin it for anybody who wants to read it, but it's really, really good. And you might hate Amir. I'm just gonna put that out there. I wanted to punch him around chapter like 7 or 8. I almost wanted to, but yeah, it's really good, and I honestly can't wait to finish it. It's over 300 pages, but I think I'll be able to whip through it pretty quickly. These are the 4 books that I have finished or I'm currently working on. This is a book that it's called Matched. It's actually a signed copy of the book. The author is Ali Condi. Let me show you the signature. I guess that's pretty cool. The librarian at my dad's high school that he teaches at gave him this book to give to me to read, and so when I finish Kite Runner and Diary of Anne Frank, I'm going to start this one, and I'm actually really excited. Honestly, when I was reading the back of the book, the sort of vibe I got was one similar to the Hunger Games. I really don't know much about this book except for this. Sounds like this girl's gonna be in an arranged marriage. So that'll be what, 3 books out of the 5? Yeah, but I'm pretty excited to read it. I've seen this book in libraries. Like I used to volunteer in a library for like 2 years, and I'd always see this book in the young adult section, and even at my high school library, in my middle school library I saw it, and I've never read it. My friend Anna did, and I think there's a series of books that go along with this. She really liked all of them. So yeah, I'm going to be reading it and reviewing it hopefully very soon. So if you have ever read any of these books, you can leave a comment or a video response below telling me what you think of them, and you could also recommend more books in the comments because I'm always looking for new books to read. So I hope you all have a very nice day. Bye!